All right, so let's take a look at some replays that I have here. Scarlett and Cadenzi were kind enough to give me some of their ASL Qualifier replays. They both played in the ASL Quals as I did. I have one match from Scarlett and 3 matches from Cadenzi that we're going to be looking at. So let's take a look at Scarlett's games here. All right, let me go ahead and switch over to this. This is going to be Scarlett's match against a former pro gamer known as Iris or Berserker. This guy is an OSL finalist. He is an amazing Terran player, someone I used to study a lot. He's not really ASL level anymore. He still plays the qualifiers and everything. I think there's an analysis video on my YouTube of me playing against him in an ASL qualifier where we had a decent TBT that he won. But yeah, this is Scarlett versus him, and I believe that this match might have gotten broadcasted by the Korean broadcast as well. Okay, so let's take a look. Scarlett up here on Neosylphid, and down here we have Iris. Very excited to see how this goes. All right, so pretty quick scout there. Gonna find him first. Be able to steal gas really easily. I think that has to be why she sent the probe out so quickly. Yep, there it goes. See how he decides to deal with this. And how she wants to play. Like, sometimes you make a Zealot with this, sometimes you don't. I think it's bad to make a Zealot with a gas steal, to be perfectly honest. I think it's pointless. She is making the Zealot. I think most Protosses make the Zealot, but in my opinion here, like, no matter what, as the Terran player, you have to make Marines. Because your gas is stolen, right? So it's like, the Zealot isn't going to find a window where you're, like, skimping on Marines at all, right? You can make 4 Marines and be happy about it in this situation. But if you pair up the Zealots with a Dragoon, that can be really awesome. Okay, so it looks like she's just going to expand off of this, which I think is pretty good, too. If you're going to expand, I think the Zealots are really good. If you're going to tech up to Dragoons, I don't think the Zealots are good, so take it back. So it looks like she has 2 Zealots here. Looks like the probe just caught the SCV. Very nice. All right, so some good micro here from Iris. Going up to 5 Marines, actually. I think he must have lost 2 SCVs if he made 5 Marines. Yeah. Should have lost 2 SCVs. That's what we're looking at here. 2 kills on this Zealot, so probably. Yeah, he lost the one over here. And then he lost one to the Zealot that was harassing. It's actually kind of an important thing. You get mega supply blocked if you make if you go up to 5 Marines and go command center with just 2 depots. So he skirted the line with that one. Scarlett just kind of teching up. Zealot coming out. Of course, 5 Marines massacre a Zealot. Well, that's kind of interesting bunker placement. Normally I make it up here and put the barracks below. Alright, let's look at what Scarlett's up to. She's going into Robo. I think it's a great play. Second gate. I imagine she's just going to go Dragoons and Observers. I think she has kind of a basic playstyle a lot of the time in this matchup. But Reavers, I think, would be good here as well. It's a range on the way. Shuttle is coming up. Yeah, so there is the Reaver tech. Okay, that does make sense to me. When you steal gas, I think a Reaver follow-up is always really nice, right? Because the factories are just going to be a little bit slower. The factory units are going to be a little bit slower. And when you get gas stolen, there is always the possibility that they do some sort of Marine medic thing. That's very rare, but obviously a Reaver would absolutely demolish that. And look here, right? This is the speed of the tank. So we have the Reaver is halfway done, and there's one tank, right? Second tank on the way. So the second tank will be out when the Reaver gets here. But there's only one factory, and then it's like, okay, so now you have 2 tanks, and you have no turrets, and you're going to have to make a Goliath. So you're basically going to be on 2 tanks. He might go up to 3 and just chase the shuttle around, but it can get a little bit dicey there. You can definitely take more damage that way if you don't have a Goliath with you, at least. We'll see how he plays it, but I really like the follow-up here from Scarlett. And she's going to go speed as well. I think that's always a nice play. Her macro, her mechanics looking really good here. 44 probes at 7 minutes. Nice. She's actually stalling out on that. Interesting. That's 44 probes is enough in this situation. So cool to see that from her. You don't need to always make miners, even though we talk about that a lot. This is becoming like a new part of pro gaming in Brood War, is stopping your workers a little bit earlier to squeeze out more units. It's kind of interesting to watch that evolve. All right, let's see. Okay, so see, notice 2 tanks. There is the 3rd tank on the way. Here's the Reaver coming in. A 2nd and 3rd factory both being made, but there's not really anti-air here. This is normal. What you do is you unload and you leave 1 Marine in the bunker so that it retains high, attack priority and stuff like that from Dragoons countering you. And then you can go chase this. Alright, let's see how she does. Kind of a bad Scarab there. Oh, she doesn't pick it up very quickly, so it takes a lot of damage. We're gonna lose that Zealot. Oh my god, I actually did not even see that. Oh man, that's painful. Of course, she couldn't have known that he went right up into Starport, but okay, I take back a lot of the things that I was saying about his play here. Looks like Scarlett is going to go ahead and attack the bunker. I love that move. It's a really good move. All right, she's going to suicide this in, kill a few SCVs. Wow, Scarlett right now, up 10 workers, breaks the front here. Has 3 tanks. All right, she should be pulling back from here. This is yeah. Picking off the SCVs is amazing, but don't lose too many goons. Wow, really good play here from Scarlett. Really good. Look at this. After all is said and done on this harassment, right? This all came from just smart continuations from Scarlett, where she stole the gas, went into the quick nexus still by making Zealots to kind of keep Iris back, and then goes up into Reaver Tech. And the thing is, Iris like predicted that basically. He made a Wraith right away. So the Reaver didn't do too much, right? It killed 2 Marines with the Scarab here and an SCV there, and then I think it killed 2 more SCVs in this mineral line before it was eliminated. But that did allow her to punch through the front, the bunker there, with all those goons, and then kill a bunch more SCVs. And look at this, 46 probes to 29 SCVs. Now, she got a full scout of what was going on here. 3 factories in Starport, that's kind of normal. If you're going to go if you're going to go factory Starport, normally you're going to go armory and 2 more factories with that. So it's kind of a normal. This doesn't necessarily mean that Iris is going to get aggressive, but it leaves options open, I guess. Now in this situation, that's kind of cute. He's looks like he was eBay blocking the 3rd base that you would normally take. But yeah, look at this. This is really good. Scarlett is remaking the shell, remaking the Reaver. I think that's good, because once you have the speed upgrade, Wraiths can't force kills on these shuttles. You can get the shuttle away. Also, going up to the 4th gate. This is just really solid play from Scarlett, in my opinion. I think that this is all really nice. Like, she can go for another base here, or if she thinks that there's going to be aggression from Iris, the 4 gates plus Reaver Tech will hold absolutely anything that can come out. So very nice. This is really exciting. Again, this is Iris. He's an old OSL runner-up. He was known as the most aggressive Terran of his era. He's one of my favorite players to watch. Just really fun, exciting games. Okay, so knocks out that eBay, obviously. I think that Iris was probably microing during that. You don't want that eBay to finish. You want it to get close, and then you can cancel when that happens. Instead, just loses it. Not a big deal, though. Not a big deal. Okay, so Scarlett is actually... It looks like she wants to bust. I don't generally like moves like this. The thing is, sometimes they work, but if it doesn't work, that's like how Terran gets back into games, right? Whereas if you just macro really cleanly up to Arbiter from here, then Scarlett's going to be in just a fantastic spot. So let's see how this goes. Okay, drops out. It's all out there. Yeah, see, the SCVs come out. As long as the Reaver doesn't get a 6-shot on SCVs or something, it should be fine. It was a really good block there. Yeah, I'd love to see her pull back. Lost a lot of goons there. 35 SCVs. I mean, it is getting low on SCVs. And I guess she doesn't actually have an observer in the base, right? So she doesn't see the factory count. Which would make this... this is going to be extra painful for her, right? Because, like I mentioned, if she just sits here and produces on what she has, any attacks that come out of Iris are not going to work. But it looks like Iris is going to go ahead and go for a 6-fact push. He has the dropship. So generally what you do in a situation like this as Terran is you're going to load up your dropship, drop vultures in here. It's going to force Dragoons to go back to defend, and then you move across the map and you make a turret, right? Like he'll probably run his army up here really quickly while the Dragoons are dealing with a drop, make a turret here, and then just push in and try to win like that. And it's a very solid way to do a 2-base push in a situation like this. So Scarlett losing all those units, she really didn't get very much for it. Like she killed some more SCVs, she killed like 2 tanks and a few vultures, but losing the shuttle, 2 zealots, Reaver, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goons minimum. Like if you have all that, this push cannot kill you. Of course, as we see, it's like she's been spending all of her robo build time on Reaver tech, right? So we have 1 observer here, but I don't think she actually realizes the factory count, perhaps. All right, so here comes that vulture drop. Let's see how she handles this. Moving her goons around a little bit. Okay, those go in. Now notice the goons running back. Okay, here are the goons. Iris is actually... I feel like he's missing his... any time to move out, but I guess he wants to get a few more rounds. And he doesn't actually have mines yet. Trying to run some vultures around. It's kind of interesting to see the science vessel there as well. Another very nice drop. Kind of using the Sim City against her here. And Iris has actually just opted to make the 3rd command center. So it looks like he's declined to do any attacks here. Kind of, this is, you can tell he's got a lot of experience the way that he's playing this, right? Because a lot of times when you see that many factories, the Terran will just attack no matter what. Instead here, he's just focusing on getting attack upgrades because that's what he can kind of afford. You don't really want to go into a 2nd armory. His economy is not really that good. He's recovered his SCV count though, of course. But utilized some strong drops and just kind of running around the map and keeping Scarlett busy. So Scarlett hasn't been able to actually grow, right? She's got an okay probe count still at 61, but we don't see like a completed Arbiter or anything, right? We have the Arbiter tech up, but that's it, right? A couple shuttles full of zealots. This is really, as a Terran player watching this, I'm like, damn, this is good. this guy's really good. It's hard to make some of these decisions, right? When it looks like he was gonna go for an attack, and then you decide, okay, I've actually kind of done some damage here. Here's a better way. Let's just take a 3rd base. Scarlett kind of poking the edges here. I like this type of move. Very nice. Completely free for her. Just utilizing her multitasking for high APM. All right, 4th CC going up. I mean, Iris has some great upgrades going. He actually has a lot of gas right now. This is kind of funny. An empty dropship going around. Very similar supplies right now. Stasis did just finish. This engage looks like it's good for Iris. Yeah, the spread here is just really fantastic with the tanks. There's a really healthy amount of vultures in here. The defense matrix. She definitely has to pull back there. Maybe staying in the fight a little bit too long. Yeah, well, now really way too long, but I think a good rule of thumb for people when engaging PvT is when the zealots dry up, back up. Because the goons are going to get splattered by the tanks. Iris getting a little ahead of himself there. So Scarlett is getting recall now, so getting some more offensive capabilities with that. Is there only the one? Okay, there's one Arb. Only one Arbiter out right now, so it's kind of low. And pretty good vision overall. Yeah, that seems like that's probably it right there. It's a pretty easy finish for a Terran of this caliber. Yeah, so I think looking at this first game, Scarlett's early game was really well mapped out. I think that she played a very clean, very nice early game. And actually got herself well ahead, I would say. And then the Reaver bust that we saw, the Reaver Dragoon bust, I don't think that was really the right play. I think, you know, I say a lot like, when you get ahead, get more ahead, right? And I think that if she had done that, I think that she can definitely win this game. But Iris played really well, so maybe not too, right? Like, the depth of skill of some of these pros and ex-pros is pretty crazy. He made some decisions that were incredibly hard to make this game. All right, GG. All right, map number 2. Someone's asking, can I elaborate on hard decisions? Okay, so the really hard decisions, for instance, you notice that Iris went up to 6 factories. So like I was explaining there, a lot of times what you'll do is you'll drop the vultures and then you'll do a push because it brings the dragoons out of position so that you can get into a sieged location that you can push from that's closer to the base. Because if you start the push and their army is outside your army, they're going to make you siege a bunch of times. They're going to run around you, things like that. Whereas if you can get up in front of their base and siege, your push is way, way stronger, right? So it looked like he was preparing for that. And then just, you know, he started doing some probe damage. He decided to instead just continue forward on attack upgrades, not get a second armory. That's something, that's like a hard decision, I would say. Deciding like which upgrades that you're going to go for. It's really high level stuff. We also saw him like add the command center very, very late. His SCV count was very low for a while, kind of rebuilt it up, and then went for that command center kind of late, and then just went into a big macro game. Those are hard decisions to make, right? It's a lot simpler to be like, okay, I have my 6 facts. Let's get them out of position. Let's move up and do this attack. Sorry if I'm not explaining this well, but as a Terran player, I can tell you those are the decisions where when you make them, you're kind of like, and you find out that it was a correct play. You're like, wow, I played well that game. All right, let's look at game 2. The Wraith play is good. Someone's asking about Wraith play, right? So let me talk about that just for a moment. So like I was mentioning, basically, was I'd like to see her go Reaver, but I think she might go Observer. That's what I said when the Robo went up, right? Because it's like Observer's very easy to play. You can kind of just sit there and you're always safe. Reaver can be a little bit harder to play. It delays things. Reaver delays things like Arbiter Tech and whatnot, especially if you get shuttle speed. Also, it's a little bit harder to micro, right? So it's like slightly harder to go as Protoss, but in this situation, it's really good when you've stolen the gas. And I explained that, how it's like, oh, you only have one factory. You're going to basically have 2 tanks when it gets there. You need anti-air, all this stuff. So it's a smart follow-up. So you definitely can just go for a Wraith, as he did. That's not too many Terrans play that way. Like Shiny plays that way. I guess Iris plays that way. I don't get to see many of his TVPs because he doesn't play an ASL or anything. Yeah, I hope that answers the question about the Wraith. Wraith can be very good anti-shuttle. You got to be on top of things, though. All right, let's take a look. This is Benzene. Yeah, someone in the chat saying it's hard to make decisions that take you out of your normal rhythm. It's very true, yeah. It's when games get really weird like that, making correct decisions, because it's hard to say even where both players are at, right? Because it's like kind of a couple abnormal openings going against each other, both players doing damage to each other's economies. It's really hard to measure where you're at. It's really hard. And that's why we see things like failed busts, right? Like Scarlett tried to bust there and couldn't quite do it, and it was, I think, maybe just a hard to make decision that was made incorrectly there. Okay, so Scarlett here. Okay, so hold on. This looks like Nexus first 1 gate. Let me rewind this a little bit. I just want to make sure I see exactly what builds we're seeing. Yeah, so this is Nexus first. We see no scout as of yet. Right, there goes the factory. Okay, so you can see here, actually, Scarlett's probe got there kind of early for a Nexus first, in my opinion. Right? This is a very anti-Zealot Rush play from Iris. This is a fantastic SimCity. And notice where the factory is. This factory later on is going to be hard to macro out of. Just to put this in perspective, probably the rest of his factories will go in this area, so this one's going to kind of be up there, and then it's probably going to have an add-on, which means the circulation here isn't great, but against a Zealot Rush, like if there's a proxy gate, it'll get slaughtered with this building placement. So I just want to throw that out there. This is kind of a... Some Terran players are willing to put their buildings like this, and some are not. You will not see Flash place his buildings like this, I think probably because he believes in his micro so much. This is more of a building placement you might see out of a pro gamer like Sharp, where it's like, no, we're just going to smash that Zealot Rush no matter what. But he's playing a very defensive game here, and Scarlett has gone for Nexus first. Nexus first is really good on Benzene. The rally distance is too far. You can't Marine Rush this. You can't Marine SCV Rush on Benzene. There's just some maps like that. Eclipse is another one. Benzene. You know, it's just... If it takes that long to walk across the map, it's not doable. So Iris scouts it, and this is the greedy Nexus first with just 1 gate, 1 Zealot, because she's identified that she can't be rushed. So really good opener, I would say. And then looking over at the side of Iris, just going directly into Vulture, that is a very normal and good play. You definitely want to... Oh, he's actually going speed. Okay, so that's some tricky stuff that we can talk about. Second gate from Scarlett. She doesn't really know what's going on. I think the second gate is what you should do as Protoss. Sometimes you'll see crazy Protosses take giant risks and do something like directly into Reaver or DT or something stupid like that. But the second gate, this is a much more stable opener. Now what Iris is doing, this is a really high-level move. A lot of times, what you're going to do as Terran is get mines to just do things like put mines in front of the base so units don't come out. Maybe some defensive mines. There's some cheesy stuff Nexus first players can do where they just go in a lot of gateway units right away. A lot of times you'll also put mines down at like third base locations to try to just slow them down, right? Because obviously Observer Tech is going to be a little bit late because you went for Nexus first and now you're having to make units. But the fact that he's going for speed, again, this is kind of a high-level move. If you play against someone that's like not all that good, they might do something like make gates over here. They'll be like, I don't know. Or you see, actually, I notice a lot of foreign Protosses will just make units nonstop and rally them to your base because they know Terran is trying to skimp, and that would kill Iris. In this situation, you know, if Scarlett just went like 4 gates and just started sending units over, like if these units just go on attack, this goon, how do you stop this goon right now, right? But you have a Marine and a Vulture, is that going to stop it? No. So this is kind of one of these high-level maneuvers that works higher up but not lower down. So this is not like a build that you can bring into B rank. Absolutely not. You will die every time and wonder why the pros can do it and you can't. But yeah, against a smarter, stronger player, it is a much stronger build in a lot of ways because it's like, is she going to wall immediately, for instance? If you can slip in at all early game with 2 Speed Vultures, that game's yours. You're going to kill so much. Scarlett going up to 3 gates, going Robo. This should be Observer Tech this time, I would say. Okay, hold on. Let's just check exactly how much damage this does. Sorry. I was looking at her build. Okay, here comes another. Here comes the 3 Vultures. This is pretty standard to try to run in with 3 because you only need 2 to live. And then if the 3rd lives, that's amazing. But 2 will one-shot a probe. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so it's 36 to 28 SCVs right now. Okay, so see, Scarlett is not quite ready for this. All right, runs right up the ramp. It generally is better if you can get up the ramp to go into the main base. But Scarlett's SimCity here is pretty good. It's not too bad. Okay, 1, 2. Oh, pops out. Huh. 3, 4, 5. Okay. So 5 SCVs gotten. I think that Iris missed some damage. Like this pylon went up. Am I getting confused because it's like a replay? Is this not walkable terrain? Okay, so yeah, 5 or 6 probes. I want to jump back a little bit too. Let's jump back to here. Okay, here's the Vultures just being clicked in. All right, we're at 30 workers to 36. Now look at this. This is really funny. This is really funny. Iris did not make any SCVs during this. So we started at 30 to 36 and we ended at 30 to 34. And 3 Vultures died. So here we actually see Scarlett macroing better than Iris. Iris is multitasking there a little bit off for sure. Like, you need to be producing during this. This is something that it's kind of funny. Like, Flash talks about this sometimes when he's doing tutorials for lesser players. He's like, don't vulture harass. You're not going to be able to keep things up at home. And if you're not keeping things up, like, did this do as much? Right? That's a big difference. All right, so kind of an interesting play here from... Good defense overall from Scarlett. But, yeah, it looks like going into Starport pretty quickly. I'm interested to see what his plan is there. Lots and lots and lots of vultures. Kind of surprised to see Scarlett walking around right now. Because you got to assume if they have speed, they're going mines as well. Oh, no. Oh, no. Alright, good thing those did not get up there, because that could have been death. Those vultures had slipped up that ramp if this goon had fallen. That would have been real bad. Yeah, seems like Scarlett getting just a little bit out of position there. Taking the third, still very solid on the probe production, 45, really nice. Still producing the goons. So Scarlett right now just kind of adding gates while taking the mineral base. She does have 2 gases. I'm interested to see what we're gonna... Yeah, see. Okay. Very, very normal stuff. Forge, Citadel. She's going up to quite a few gates, like 6 gates. I think she'll just go directly into Arbiter from here. I'd be surprised at anything else. Let's take a look over here. Iris just setting up as well. Way down in SCVs. 15 behind. Wow. Placement of goons. Going up into Arbiter Tech. 4th base as well. Yeah, this is very solid play from Scarlett, I think. It's a good probe count. She's making more probes still. It's always... probe counts are an interesting discussion that's kind of taking place right now, I think, in a lot of ways. Like, how many are you actually supposed to have? Right now, the trend is going lower for some people for Protoss. For a while, it was only B Protosses that couldn't produce probes, but now pros are starting to cut a little bit early. But I still think 70's good count. Especially when you're being harassed this much. Yeah, just continuing to harass. Alright, Scarlett's got a killer economy right now. Arbiter coming out. Yeah, love to see her take some map control now. No reason to be sitting back in your base anymore. Iris very quickly taking all those bases as well. Yeah, I love this base being taken. This is where it gets really hard for Terran, where it's like, well, I mean, you can push up to here and then kill this base, but it's kind of time-consuming because you're going up a ramp against cannons, and then that leaves, like, first off, a very wide area for Protoss to hit, and then also another area that they can maybe counterattack into your rally. Alright, let's see how this looks. Yeah, Scarlett's macro is pretty crazy. Look at this. Gigantic economy. Going up to a 6th base. 3k, 1.5k in bank. Yeah, 2-star port. I was actually checking for that. Definitely want 2-star gate at this point. Observer speed on the way. Good upgrades. 2 wonders on the way. Here, Iris getting ready to hit with... Oh, that can't be almost done. Yeah. The production tab doesn't show perfect where things actually are. Where's the other one? Is that it there? No. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, he's got 3-2 on the way. 4 bases. Pretty solid. Alright, let's see how this goes. I don't think you can really attack anywhere here as Scarlett. And this is why 2-player maps sometimes can become pretty good for Terran in certain situations. Like, there's not... How many more bases can Scarlett take, right? There's 1 more base that's on the map that hasn't been taken. But once... If Iris gains control of this area, obviously these 2 bases become pretty hard to keep, this one and this one up here. So I kind of like this high econ approach from Scarlett. Like, if she can just suck the minerals out of these locations as quickly as possible and then trade into the army, that'd be really good. Oh, we almost have that stasis energy. Some juking and jiving. Oh, I like this engagement from Scarlett. Alright, I feel like the pullback right there is about right. Yeah. We lost like 3 more Zealots and 4 Goons killing a tank. It's hard to pull back just perfectly in this game. That was a good beginning to the engagement, though, I think. And how many gates? 1, 2, 3. 15 gates? 2 Stargates. Alright, well, you can make 30 supply all at once, so she's gonna go 2 rounds, so in about 1 minute, she'll be maxed out again. Oh, a little bit of a mistake there, not pulling back. Iris playing some solid play. Really good anti-arbiter here. Your first recall is going to suck. You do choose to go that route. It's got great upgrades. Yeah, so at this point, all you kind of have to do if you've gotten this far as Terran is you need to deny one of those 2 bases at least. Because if you're on equal income, you should be able to take it. We're gonna have 2 stasis. Vessel's coming out though. Alright, let's see. Sick EMP there. So the first Arbiter got EMP'd. Okay. Ooh, that was good for Scarlett right there. Killed the Defense Matrix tank like instantaneously. Wow. Reducing that tank count reasonably. Okay. Where are we at after that? It's got 3 add-ons, so we can replace tanks pretty quick. 4, 5, 6, 9 facts. Notice how wonky all this placement is due to these 2 depots, by the way. And then you start laying mines, and it's like, oh. I feel like if you have this many bases as Terran, you may as well have 12 facts. But that all comes back to this, by the way. This is actually a crucial thing as you get better with Terran. You start to realize that like my early building placement affects my macro late game. So if these are not here, you can have 2 more facts, maybe 3 more facts easily. Okay, so that trade, maybe she stayed a little tiny bit too long, but I think it went all right for a bit. She's got a really great bank, 15 gates, so you know, it's gonna still take a couple rounds to really get everything up. So Iris has about a minute before Scarlett can really engage again. Because she lost like the entire army too, right? Maybe there's some sort of mathematical way to look at it, I wonder, where it's like, okay, if I have 15 gates, that's 30 supply at a time. So you don't want to wait 3 rounds to max out. So maybe you always make sure that you're pulling back with a full group of units. Like, never let your last control group die or something like that. I've never thought about the game in those terms, but I wonder if something like that makes sense. Kind of does when I say it. Yeah, not gonna break this with that blue army. Good defense matrix. Oh, I want that to die. Ah, a little bit sloppy there. Loses that Nexus. Iris is playing so well, really. Really impressive stuff. Like, this setup, this is such a pain to attack into as Protoss, right? Look how far out the mines go. You're going to be shooting them from low ground. So you're going to be missing shots against the mines. It's going to give Terran 100 years to get in here. You can't just attack move. And, like, to go over here and get onto the high ground, that's not really that scary, because, again, this is all high ground. Really good positioning from Iris. He's got turrets everywhere. You can't really recall. Like, the amount of turrets he's made is insane. Very good stuff. SCV's in here. Okay, so I think she's getting a little bit out of position here, like sending the whole army up there. The EMPs have been just dastardly from Iris. We have no stasis ready. Oh god, 98. 100. And all the zealots get used up. Oh, that's a pretty good engagement right there. Look at the amount of arbiters, too. Damn. Wow. That was a very cool game, too. What I think I feel like I'm watching, I think that if Scarlett continues to play Brood War, she'll get better than Iris. Like, I think Iris, you could see, like, how experienced he is. He made, like, a lot of really good decisions about army movement and positioning. Build orders went to transition into, like, expanding and defending rather than attacking. His harassment was good. Like, you saw a lot of stuff there. But it looked to me like, mechanically, Scarlett was a bit better for sure. And, like, there was just a few small finesse things that with a bit more experience will come to her that, yeah, I feel like that was a good series. It was a good series. Really sick. Thank you to Scarlett for sending me those replays. That was actually quite a pleasure to watch.